Hello and welcome to Old Lady Plays. I'm Kate, the Old Lady, and this is Downfall of Empires, a during-action report for December 1915. Here we are. It's tense. It's a slow build-up this turn, or this year. Here we are in winter of 1915, and as you can see, the Germans control Brussels, so they are getting an extra recruit this term. And here we go. Because they control Brussels, they're able to reinforce it more. And eventually the French move in back into Paris and an extra one in Amiens as they rebuild after an abortive attempt at attacking Brussels. Otherwise, it's pretty much stalemated over here for now. But who knows, with tanks coming sometime soon. Maybe not quite so stalemated soon. Down on the southern front, the Italians enter the war, and so the Austro-Hungarians react with alacrity and close up all the gaps around Trieste from when, with the Germans' help, Innsbruck. So that was closed up, which is good for me, as the Russians, because it meant that I drew some of the forces away from encroaching on Warsaw. So as you see, while they spread out a little bit, and one of them went back by strategic movement, the Germans are at this point just rebuilding after my assault on Königsberg was not quite successful. The Russians continue to recruit. Not surprisingly, they've got a lot of armies to recruit from. But I think things are generally speaking going pretty well over there. I'm happy with the defense of Warsaw. And I have to worry about Turkey coming into the war. And I will admit that I didn't do a very good job of worrying about Turkey coming into the war, as you'll see shortly. So here we are back for spring of 1915. These things are all marked move just as we were wiggling them around trying to make sure that we could see the names of the cities, Paris and Brussels and Amiens and so on. Otherwise, it's just more build-up, slow build-up, recruiting here, recruiting on the southern front for Italy, grabbing their 5th Army, and this turn will largely involve just building up. Oh, I haven't recruited that army yet. I'm sorry, my mistake. Must have done a different recruiting action. Back up there. Not much has changed down on this front. It stays pretty static for now, and in fact, really for the rest of 1915. We'll continue to show it, but not much changes. We do add another Italian unit. Over here, the Russians continue to build back up. Warsaw is now occupied with 2 armies, but the Germans have also built back up in Königsberg. So, it's just a continuous build-up on this front. But unfortunately, not in Baku, and importantly. I'm not sure I actually show you that, though. I think that might be a flaw in my particular pan and scan version of this map, so I'll have to think about that next time. No significant movement on the diplomacy front this time. And as we go back and set up for summer of 1915, and there we go. Come on now. There. The Germans recruit, the French recruit. It's pretty much what you can expect. The British finished building up to full units in Amiens, and French recruit at Nancy. I guess the British can't have done that because I think this is the term where the Italians recruited. We'll find out about that in a moment. But you can see that the Germans have built up again in the Ardennes and will soon drive out that one last half army of Poilu there, as they will out of Brussels with the remaining British half army. And there you go, as I said, the Italian half army deployed in Venice. As you can see, the Austro-Hungarians also recruited and built up around, well, really Salzburg. That's what this little nick in the border is, but it doesn't say Salzburg on it, but that's what it will work out to be. It's Salzburg, and from Salzburg to Klagenfurt, more or less. Anyway, here we are up on the Eastern Front now, and as you can see, build-up continues. Warsaw has gained another unit. Both the units in Vilna have gone up to full armies now. Meanwhile, the Austro-Hungarians are doing nothing on this front, as they have to shore up the front opposite with the Italians. Very pleased with how the diplomacy worked out on that front, because just as the Austro-Hungarians were massing outside of Warsaw, I got the Italians into the war and they had to pay attention. Meanwhile, this time Romania moves up on the diplomacy chart, and we move into the winter, or the fall of 1915. Any moment now. This must be it. Oh, I'm sorry, it is it. In fact, it is it, because I can see that the British have been driven out of Brussels and the French out of the Ardennes. But the British have recruited in Amiens, so that's handy. It will help that flank stay pretty solid. And the Italians recruited up to a full army in Venice, was the other part of that recruit action. Technology proceeds apace. That is a flaw. I'm sorry, I've realized that I've failed to show you the development charts. I will make sure that that is involved in the video for 1916. But as you can see, otherwise, nothing much happening on the southern front. On the eastern front, the build-up continues apace. Vilna now has 3 armies occupying it. Warsaw 2 has 3, and Königsberg has 2 with a backup half army. Meanwhile, the Austro-Hungarians have beefed up to 1 army each, as they hold part of the steppe, but not a whole lot. Well, it's really not steppe, it's mostly Poland at this point, but we're still holding on to Warsaw, which is part of Mother Russia. Woo, Mother Russia. I don't believe that. Meanwhile, Romania has joined the war, and Bulgaria is getting closer. And there we are. We're all finished. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a great day, and take care.